If you've ever thought about doing a wedding in Palm Springs, I am going to walk you through a really fun venue. It's run by Marvimone Productions. You might have heard me talk about them before. They run a few venues out here in Los Angeles. And Palm Springs, I think it's their first one that they've opened in Palm Springs, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Caveat, I have not actually planned a wedding there yet. I have physically been there. John has DJ'd a wedding there. It was back in February, just a little bit over a month ago, and I really enjoyed seeing the space and being there, so I really wanted to share about it. Welcome to Wedding Planning Wednesdays, a weekly live series where I dive into my favorite wedding topic of the moment. I'm your host, Jane Yu, co-founder of UNS Events, and we plan, design, and DJ weddings in Los Angeles and beyond that reflect who you are in its details. I love supporting engaged couples on their planning journey from beginning to end, and my main goal is to help you confidently make intentional decisions that are important and personal to you. I'm really grateful for everyone who subscribed so far, whoever watches my videos and finds them helpful. If you're just getting started with your wedding planning journey, remember to download my wedding planning timeline and checklist, which I will link below. It's a step-by-step guide that breaks down the planning process in phases over a period of 8 to 12 months, and it's really designed to keep you on track without the overwhelm. As always, I'm starting this week with a life enhancement tip, and today it's not a tangible item. Sometimes I talk about not tangible things, but maybe mindset or just things that I'm thinking about or doing. And today I was really thinking about how little things really make a difference. Right now, we're kind of in the season of building the business, although when are we not? But, we are still kind of in the beginning, like first few years of the business. So it's not like we have all this disposable income to spend. And so, purse strings are a little bit tighter. We're trying to be smart about our money. And whenever I do go out to eat or even buy a delicious cup of coffee, it feels special, and it does feel like it's not just an everyday thing, even though it is, right? So the other day I was getting a smog check for the car, and I was just walking around Chinatown in LA, and usually I'll just get my steps in, and I decided to stop in this little store called Paper Plant Co. I will also link it below. Super cute little tiny stationery store where they sell like paper goods and pens and things like that. And I've been shopping for a pen online on Amazon, which it's probably cheaper. I mean, pens aren't that expensive, but I do like my Japanese pens, and I do love the Muji pens typically. But so I went in, which I never really do. I feel like shopping in person sometimes is like such a novelty, especially because it's just so much easier to shop online, right? But I went in and tried a bunch of pens, and then I walked out with this Pilot pen that was 0.4. I love a fine like gel. It wasn't gel tip. I think it was ink tip and not ballpoint. But yeah, it's just remembering that the little things really do make a difference in general in life. And I was just really appreciating that quiet moment to myself. And so I wanted to share that, and I hope that you have a bunch of little things in your life that are bringing you joy. And, don't dismiss the little things. It's important. But moving on to this week's topic. So the Palm Springs venue that I want to talk about today is Desert Island. It is a Palm Springs venue run by Marvimone Productions, as I mentioned. This is their website that just outlines a bunch of their different venues. John and I got married here at Millwig. I think you can see my cursor. So we got married here at Millwig, and they each really have their own personality. And that's really what I love about these Millwig locations. These Marvimone locations, because They're even down to their name, it has a meaning, like based on the history of, what they used to be. And the owner is a true creative and an artist. And so the design intention that goes into these elements are really, really cool and so much personality. And you'll also find that with Desert Island. So moving on to some Desert Island specific photos. I love destination venues that really speak to the locality of the venue. So for example, in Palm Springs, when I think of it, I really think that the color palette, the words that describe it are like desert oasis, retro chic, Hollywood, old Hollywood glamour. Those are kinds of the things that I think about. And even Desert Island Country Club, it's on Frank Sinatra way. And so even little touches like that, that's what it really reminds me of. And even from the entryway and the foyer, like you can tell like the design is really intentional and very local feeling. And Palm Springs is definitely, I feel like, a destination, right? It's a destination for everyone in not just in California, but also just all over the US. And I think it feels really special when a venue feels very hyper local. Of course, there are Palm Springs residents who I'm sure don't want like a super Palm Springs looking space, and maybe they want more of a classic look and things like that. But I feel like if you're traveling somewhere, you want to kind of like bring the local vibe, especially if everyone is traveling in. Then it feels really cool and fun and like you're in a different place. Like it was actually worth traveling there, and it's not just any place that you could find somewhere else. And so that's what I really love about it. And you can tell by this photo too, like it's called the Penny Bar. It's one of their spaces, and it just really has that, all of those words that I talked about. Old Hollywood glamour, retro, like from the colors, from the design choices and all of that. And again, desert oasis, right? Like at nighttime, the building looks amazing. And it's on a golf course. Like when you hear country club, you probably think golf course, right? And it is on a golf course. There aren't any like guest rooms on the property. But when you hear country club, a lot of times, you might think it's a little bit stuffy, or the ballroom is just very white and neutral, or like wood tones. But you're gonna see in a second that that's really not what it is. And the design, I think, was very overhauled, because from what I heard, the old space definitely did not look anything like this. So I'm gonna start with the spaces just to show you like what a wedding would look like. I'm going to start with the ceremony space. So it is on a golf course. The west, I believe, side of the building is a driving range area. And of course, it's active like during the day. And when you move, or when it's time for the ceremony and your guest arrival, they will shut that area down, and the venue will set up these benches. You can see here out on the green, and it's super vast, and it's actually such a beautiful, beautiful backdrop. There's the mountains in the background. You have the palm trees. These photos are ones that I took with my phone when I was with John. He provided the sound. Now it's out on the range, so there are no power sources. And that means your DJ or AV company, they do have to bring either a battery-powered speaker, or in our case, we brought a little generator. The venue provided an umbrella for our gear because it was really, really unseasonably hot that day, even though it was end of February. It was supposed to be very mild, but it ended up being very warm that day. So I think for the guests, it may have been a tad bit uncomfortable, but they did have parasols for most of them. So there was some sun coverage there, and the ceremony wasn't too long. And now from the west side of the building, or from the side of the building, and from the entrance, you do have to walk. It's it's not like a super short distance. I wouldn't say it's so long. I would say maybe it's a 5-minute walk from when you enter the front, and you have to go to the range for the ceremony. They do have golf carts available for people who need it or just want to ride or have uncomfortable shoes, or are older folks that want to ride. It's too tiring for them. So that's definitely an amenity that the venue has. Now, after the ceremony, you make your way back, and this bar that I showed you earlier, it's you can enter the space through this way, enter the building this way, and have cocktail hour here. Now, on the details sheet for the venue, you have to buy this part out in addition to the ballroom space, which you'll see in a minute, if you have more than 100 guests. But I think even if you have a little bit less than that, it's nice to have this space. It may feel a little bit big, but if you do not have more than 100 guests, then you could probably set up the bar inside. And I'm just realizing that I actually am not 100% sure where cocktail hour would be if you did not activate Penny. But for the wedding that I was at, they activated this space. So cocktail hour was here. And then we moved into the ballroom, which is right adjacent to this. And it's beautiful, as you can see. It's very pink and green, has like that retro vibe. The recessed lighting in the ceiling is great. I don't think it's dynamic. It looks like it's moving in the image. Oh, excuse me. This is my first time presenting. Thank you for your patience here. But this is their furniture that comes with it. So it's pretty nice that it comes with it. I wanted to point out, actually, they have 3 different colors of chairs, and they have these super cute table skirts, table covers. So they have 22 of these 6-foot round tables. They have these chairs. They have 250 chairs, so you can fit 250 people in this ballroom. And they have table covers, which are they're custom, and I thought they were so cute. And usually, you have floor-length linens, which also look nice. But this is so intentional, and the fabric is kind of like, I don't think it was actually leather, but it kind of felt a little bit like leather, so it's a little bit more heavy. And so I really, really liked that detail about it. The sales rep there was telling me that sometimes, couples will come and they don't realize how pink it's going to be or how pink and colorful it's going to be. And for me, when I go into a space or when I'm booking a venue for a wedding, I would prefer, as much as possible, to keep the integrity of the space as intact as possible. So a lot of times with ballroom spaces, at hotels or country clubs, a lot of people pipe and drape all of the walls, and it looks really nice at the end of the day, but I don't love that you have to do so much, or you feel like you have to do so much. Maybe in a hotel ballroom, you want to cover up the air wall that's dividing the space that you're in. And so you have to kind of do the drape to give it that texture, or maybe the walls are a little worn or just super blank and no personality. And so that's why I love Desert Island Country Club, because it is a ballroom, but it already has so much personality. And again, if you're gonna want to change a lot of it, you're not really taking advantage of the amenities that they already provide. That's just my 2 cents, and I really love, really love the space. Just some additional information. I mentioned that the seated capacity is 250. It can be up to 300 if you buy, if you use Penny, and then also there's a private dining room right connected to the ballroom called the Founder's Room, which I don't have a photo of right now. but it's right next door, and you can also use it for buffet or whatever kind of like activation that you might want to have. Typically, they rent it for 12 hours. You can have additional hours if you request it and get it approved. Like all Marvimone venues, they provide 2 site managers that are part of the cost, and sometimes you have to have a third, just depending on your guest count. And it operates very much like the other Marvimone production venues, where it's such a well-oiled machine. I love working with their teams because they're so helpful. There's a very clear process for the clients, and they'll always help you figure things out. One thing that is different, because it is at a country club, you do have to use the country club's bar services exclusively, and that ranges from $73 to $91 per person before taxes or service charges. And so that's a little bit more pricey than what you might spend at one of their other venues, where you can, BYOB and hire a bartending service to actually serve the liquor. So that's something that's a little bit different. They do have an existing sound system. I felt like it wasn't as robust as maybe some of their other venues, but it definitely did the job. They do have this stage that I want to share where John DJ'd, and you can have a DJ there, or you can also have other entertainment or a band there. So it's nice that they have this little stage, and you have the curtains that close and open as you wish. And then they have their signature disco ball, which I feel like is in all of their spaces, or maybe not one of them, but in most of them. And I've seen pictures too of where people added more disco balls even to it. And as I mentioned, they also have golf carts for use if you need it. Vendors can also use it. And all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid experience. As far as the catering, like the food is concerned, I believe you do have to get approval. I think they have a bunch, of course, on their preferred vendor list. But if you want to bring someone that's not on their list, they just have to have a business license and insurance and get approval from the venue beforehand. Overall, I really liked my experience there. One thing to consider is, it is an outdoor ceremony. There's always the risk of inclement weather. And so they have different options for indoor ceremonies. I think the main or easiest one would be to use the ballroom, because you'll probably already have that for your reception, and then flip it while people are at cocktail hour. They do have another northern gallery space, it's called. And it can only fit, though, up to 136, I believe, for the ceremony. So there you have it. If you want more information, I've linked their website below. I've also linked Marvimone's website below in case you're interested in any of their other venues. I also linked my video that I made about Millwick a while back, in case you want to check out that venue. That one too is very tropical, lush inside, kind of glam, has an industrial warehouse vibe, and I absolutely loved it, obviously, because I got married there and have done a bunch of weddings there since. But yes, Desert Island, if you're looking for bold, fun, retro, Palm Springs, that kind of vibe, Desert Island, it might be the perfect fit for you. Also, Palm Springs, I hadn't been to Palm Springs proper in a long time. I'd been to Joshua Tree for weddings, and I've been there a bunch, but I forgot how big, like a big, vibrant city Palm Springs is. Like, we had a bunch of great food, and it also has a great LGBTQ plus community, which I really, really liked. And the inclusivity of the community is really great, and you could really feel all of the love, honestly. Even all of the Uber drivers and all of the, Lyft drivers were so nice. And I don't normally like conversing with my drivers all the time, but they were just so lovely. And, I really don't have any negative memories of that weekend that we spent there a month ago. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could press that like button for me, and also maybe share this video with any fellow engaged couples, brides, grooms, or even your family and friends and vendors maybe that you think might be interested in the content. It will really help support my channel and also help people who are interested in all things weddings to discover my channel. Thank you always for your support, and I will see you next week. I'm Jane Yu, and this is Wedding Planning Wednesdays. Have a good night.